What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Outside the Lines with Keontae Coleman. I'm yours truly, the host himself. And this episode comes after not wild card weekend, but championship weekend in the NFL from the AFC and the NFC championship respectively. And obviously, before anything, just always say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for taking time to watch and listen. It's well appreciated, and just trying to keep the grind up, keep on getting better, and I appreciate the journey. Um, Not to even cut to no bullshit. I I, I want to start with the Eagles versus or the Eagles hosting the Commanders, but there is a lot to talk about from the Bills visiting Kansas City for the AFC Championship. So we're going to start there. And more than anything, this is my unfiltered take about it, but it just felt like this was the year for Josh Allen and the Bills. It felt like it. Like, more so than last year when they got to bring Kansas City into their house, it felt a little bit different. Not because of, the roster construction being with the without Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, two people that were there for the entire journey of it, but there was just a different mentality that this year the Bills have been taking care of business more than anything, winning some thriller games, and also losing like a few games that left us with a lot of questions. Now, in terms of the Chiefs, obviously they've been squeaking by wins the entire season from the get go. If you were to tell me that from the first game of the season that the Chiefs beating the Ravens by Isaiah Likely having a shoe size too big, and that would dictate the rest of the Chiefs season in terms of close games and just barely hanging on. I wouldn't have believed you, honestly, because the Chiefs have just been the Chiefs. They've been blowing teams out. They've been consistent, high-powered offense, and timely. I guess you could say timely defense. But this year with the Chiefs, although they won 15 games, it felt like every game was a one possession game for the Chiefs. And credit to them and their coaching staff for being able to execute, obviously. But man, a lot of questions in terms of, you know, refs this, are the refs giving the Chiefs these games because of the questionable calls, the timely penalties, everything in the whole nine, honestly. Now, I'm one of those people where I don't necessarily like care about it until it happens in the terms of the big games. So obviously, I feel like week 2 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, when there was the pass interference that normally doesn't get called. It's pass interference by the defense, but it normally doesn't get called. I looked at like, they called it, but it's like, damn. Um, the game against there was another game that I'm blanking on. Not the one, not the Texas divisional round one, but there was another game where I can't remember. I can't even remember. But I don't really care until it comes to the big games. But one thing that I took away from this season for the Chiefs up to this point is they don't look too healthy of a game of an offense for some reason because they're struggling. Like, if you are in one score games for I think it was 11 games of the season, that means you're struggling. Like come to a team that, and the thing is like obviously the Chiefs are the hunted now that they were the two-time defending champs, so you're going to get the best out of everybody. But you can't tell me that you're getting the best out of everybody, and that your best is playing down to competition. So obviously it feels like the Chiefs like weren't as locked in, obviously, and Buffalo, who came into the playoffs on a hot streak with Josh Allen, probably is going to win MVP. Takes care of Denver, takes care of the Baltimore Ravens, and then they come into Kansas City, and it's like, man, I mean, all the momentum feels the Bills' way, and for how the game went, Patrick Mahomes played his best game of the season without question. I mean, two rushing touchdowns, two two passing or one passing, two rushes. He played his best. 200, 240 plus yards. He played his Patty Mahomes played his best. But why is it that every time, like I said, in big games, I only care about the big games, the head to head matchups. Why is there always a question mark about how the game turned out? It it quite frankly, and I'm a my some of my favorite teams that I root for are I call them the killer bees, the Bears, the Bengals, the Bills, and the Buccaneers. I love those teams. I'm also a Rams fan, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but why is it that every one of these wins is just there is some questionable call that happens in the second half that takes the momentum away from a team? Looking at all the sports shows, as I'm recording this the day after the game, all the sports shows, camera views, everything. That fourth and one, or that fourth and inches, that fourth and one, fourth and inches from the Bills in the fourth quarter, were Josh Allen. I mean, I think the issue with it is that so many people see that they crossed the line, that Josh Allen with the QB rush passed the line of game. He passed it from whatever angle you choose to look from. But when they put that sky cam up and you seen Josh Allen pass the line of game, and the call is not like reversed, I guess you say, because on the field you have one ref saying that he crossed, another one saying that he didn't. So they went with the one that said he didn't cross. And you know, um, replays are tricky. Replays are tricky. I mean, reviews are tricky because obviously, like the refs, they're humans. They're not going to see everything, and it's kind of like one of those things where if it's not enough evidence to overturn on the field, the call on the field stands. Man, what is the point in having replay or review, replay assist, if you're not going to use all the angles? Because obviously you lean more into what the ref said, but if they use the sky cam, and it's so strange because they on the broadcast they showed the sky cam once, and he obviously passed the line of scrimmage, but it seems like the refs did not use a sky cam, even though they have it to their advantage, especially for fourth and inches, fourth and one. Any of those scenarios where short yardage, you have the sky cam for that reason. Why is it not being used? Because when you look at the sky cam, it looks like, I mean, everyone could see that he passed the line, and there's, like I said, there's always the questionable calls, and quite frankly, it's pissing me off because I don't want to take anything away from the Chiefs, but that is a momentum stopper for the Bills, who are actually methodically going down the field. Now, obviously, methodically is not the strongest word when you're going for a fourth and inches, but with a 1 point lead, the Bills are marching down the field, fourth and inches. Josh Allen looks like he picks up the first down and then goes to the other team, man. I mean, it's those momentum plays that seem to always just go in the momentum flags or the momentum reviews that tend to fall into the Chiefs' tendencies is quite frankly pissing me off. And it's pissing off more than enough fans. And I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Chiefs because they're a great team, greatly coached, and quite frankly, that for the last play, the last possession that the Bills had, hell of a blitz by Steve Spagnuolo, hell of a blitz corner on the strong side of the quarterback, forcing him to move around, forcing an not uncharacteristic throw, but an off-platform throw to try to get the first. Hands down, great play call. But there's just always something that is like, I'm not saying that a game has to be perfect. I'm not saying that. But there is something when every single game it feels like the Chiefs win. There is something and it's spotlighted in the big games, playoff games. I mean, we can go back last week in the divisional round where there were the two questionable helmet to helmet penalties, you could say, or unnecessary roughness, I guess is the best word for it, where the one where the two Texans defenders hit each other as Mahomes was sliding down, refusing to go towards out of bounds line. He turns it upfield and they hit each other. The Texans players hit each other because Mahomes slides under, flag on the play. Like, I'm one of the people who say that the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, or however the hell you want to phrase it, they do not need, they are great in their own regard. They do not need assistance from the refs, but it feels like they consistently get it. Whenever the game's in doubt, those boys in the black and white stripes seem to help them out. I mean, it's getting it's sickening, honestly, and I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot of no calls, missed calls throughout the entirety of the game, but it just seems like the ones that hit the hardest always just go in the Chiefs' favor. And with all be it so, there was a lot more to go in the game. Like it was still 9 minutes left, so who knows and who knows in this game on Sunday night. But I'm getting sick of it, man. And as a as a Bills fan, it hurts because the team gets to the. I was watching some show or like a YouTube video of a show, and they said someone on the panel said that I think it was a Sunday countdown, Sunday NFL countdown on ESPN. I can't remember who said it, but they said that the hardest game to lose is the conference championship because you were everyone. That's the one where you're closest to it at, you know. And I don't know, man. It just I don't know. Like the Bills, I don't know. The Bills felt like they had it this year. It There was an energy to it, and here it goes. It just seems like it's always just snatched away, and it kind of puts a hold on the Manning and Brady, the Brady Manning rivalry, because at this point, after a few years, Manning had beat Manning had beat Brady in the playoffs at least once to advance, and now it's 4 straight years. Where is it? 4 straight years? No, 4 out of 5 years, because there was the one time that the Bengals took out the Bills. But I don't know. It just feels like it's inevitable at this point that you go against Kansas City in the playoffs and you're in for the Bills, you're done. You're done. And sorry. And not to take anything away, I try my best not to take anything away from Kansas City, because they're a great team, great, like I said, greatly coached and everything. But they don't need these questionable calls to be great. But it just feels like there's always one of them coming down the road, and yeah, it's sickening. It's sickening, honestly, because and people, they compare it to the Patriots, right? Um, as good as the Patriots were, they put a lot of teams away. Now there were some games where it was pretty close in terms of getting coming down to the wire and everything, but for the most part, I always seen the Patriots for the time I was able to watch them. So let's just say 2013 and on, 2013 and on, watching the Patriots. There were games that they were close, but for the most part, they put a lot of teams away. You know, in terms, we put a lot of teams away, right? Kansas City doesn't put teams away no more. Like in the early for the past 2 years, it just seems like there's been some wishy washy kind of play calls, not or flags coming out that were just like, nah, yeah, like this goes in the Chiefs' favor, because I don't see many calls against them, and I don't know. It seems like the calls are always for the Chiefs, and that's what's sickening about it. But nonetheless, not taking anything away from KC, outstanding. Like I said, if you were to tell me like the Bills got outcoached this game, and rightfully so, with Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. So not to take anything away from the Chiefs, but like great game by the Chiefs and their game plan in terms of everything. But just my recap on it. I'm so sick of. Like I said, I don't care about the mini games of it. Like not to shit on another franchise in terms of, like the Chiefs play the Panthers, questionable play call happened here. I care about the big games, the ones that mean a lot in terms of playoff implications, home field, so on and so on. Like the Sunday night games, the primetime games, you could say, but on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily. Like, I don't know. Like, that's the regular play. If the play calls happens in this game, you can live with it. But when it happens in the big ones, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. Um, Damn, I went on a 20-minute rant about that game. Did not follow schedule. Um, to kind of talk about the NFC Championship now, because there was a lot to say about the AFC one. What I liked about, obviously Jaden Daniels, the Washington Commanders, I gotta give them credit. I just have to give them credit for getting this far, right? What they did last week against the Lions was phenomenal. Then, as much as good as Detroit was, they never gave them a chance. I mean, every time the Commanders touched the ball, going down the field, keep going, keep going, keep going, and keep going. Honestly, so what they did to the Lions last week was phenomenal. Obviously, Jared Goff had 3 turnovers, pick six, yada 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 yada. But I guess you kind of just say they ran to a buzzsaw this week against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's just one of those things where, not to say like Jaden Daniels is all superhuman out, but you can only do so much as quarterback. When when I was watching the game, I feel like two of those fumbles, the player was trying to do, because the Washington Commanders had 3 turnovers, three fumbles lost. One of them was on special teams. The other one was in the regular field of play. Excuse me. But watching that game, the two of the 3 fumbles that were lost by De'Ami Brown and Austin Eckler, both of those players were trying to do too much in terms of trying to make a play. I don't like that. In the big games, if you are not like, if you try to do too much with the ball, there is a defender waiting to punish you for it. There is always a defender waiting to punish you for not displaying the fundamentals. Cover the ball up. Do not sit here trying to bobble it with one hand, and do not sit here trying to make something out of nothing. It's okay, because those turnovers, respectfully, happen on first and second down. The Austin Eckler one is baffles me only because it's okay to just take that quick 1 yard completion. It's okay. It's okay to do that, because, contrary to belief, I think Cliff Kingsbury is a fantastic play caller. Now, it might not go as schemed up, obviously. Um, you know, every time you run a play, ideally, right? You have 1 to 2 reads, and then you have a check down. 1 to 2 reads and check down. So if you have to take a check down, if you're the check down guy, it is okay. Barring it be third or fourth down, and really fourth down, because if you have confidence in your play caller, in Cliff Kingsbury, you know that there is a play for fourth down. You know that you're going to go for it, and you know if it's third down without question. Like, like, there we have a play call for third down. Every team has a play call for third down, especially the best, who have a way of diversifying their third down play calls. So I didn't understand why you want to kind of like make a play when you have a great offense, a great offensive play caller. Maybe not the greatest offense, obviously, because there were times where the Eagles completely shut down the Washington Commanders' offensive game. But you have a great play caller. Trust in that. Because I know I would. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm an NFL player, but if I have to catch a check down and it's only 1 yard gain, it's second down, and if like it's one of those things where you can get up, you can get up, but I would much rather just take the quick check down. Like I slid on the ground and catch the ball, and I have 2 more downs to go. I'm gonna sit here because I believe in my play caller, Cliff Kingsbury, Andy Reid, whoever it is, that they have a great play for third down and a great play for fourth down if need be. You can't try to do too much with the ball, especially against a number one defense like Philadelphia. It's okay. Like it's okay to take the check down. Like Jaden Daniels is the only person. Like it's so weird when there's turnovers that don't happen and they're not the quarterback's fault, because a quarterback, especially a rookie, he's expecting those veterans, those guys around him, to stay composed and make and trust him to be able to make plays, but also to understand their concepts of the game. A check down is a check down. There is no check down meant to go 87 yards to the house. Now there are great players that make those plays, but the expectation of a check down is to only get about somewhere between 1 to 5 to 7 yards. That's what a check down is. You can't get caught up in trying to make a play, make something out of nothing when there's nothing. So I don't know, just the disappointment of those fumbles, because obviously they know, everyone who watched the game will tell you that game was not on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels played as good as a player could possibly play against that defense. Yeah, he threw an interception, but he didn't throw that interception to lose garbage time. The game was already put away. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even count that as an interception. That's a quarterback trying to make a play when he's down 20. So to each his own with that. Real quick to talk about the Eagles though. Great game. Saquon Barkley. I mean, it just feels like it's never ending on. You look at the Giants and you say, what the hell were you doing to not sign him over um, Daniel Jones? What the hell were you doing? Because he gets in the playoffs against a great off with a great offensive line. He's running ripshot over everybody. I mean, you like, not to be a gambling man, but best believe I'm taking the 115 yards every time, because that's what he does. And it's so crazy because how do you let this happen? You let the what top you let a top what 5 running back get one of the best off. I do mean, if not the best offensive line, one of the best, because all he does is just find that gap. He's gone, man. I mean, Saquon's been sensational this year. Fantastic. I mean, I haven't seen a running back like it in my time of watching football. I haven't seen a running back season like this, because he can pass catch in this offense. He can block in this offense. He can run the ball effectively between and out. Look, help. I mean, you hope to keep this man inside the numbers, but it just seems like anytime he has a chance to go outside the numbers, you're cooked. You're done as a defense because that man, he is too good at the running back position. Like we all love Derrick Henry and everything, and we love CMC too. But CMC is more so that pass catching back role, receiving back, you could say. And Derrick Henry runs over everybody. But you have a speed demon and the how do you even just like a speed demon that is as elusive as anyone and has the field IQ with the very best of them in Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts played great yesterday too. Um, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing. Gets one to AJ Brown. Like, let's just silence the critics. Like everyone keeps on saying that, oh, the passing game and the offense is terrible. They don't use it. Why would you if Saquon was running for 200 yards a game? And if it ain't him that's rushing for 200 yards, the whole team is rushing for 300. Like, why would you lean on the pass game when the run game is that good? I, I just give credit. I give credit where credit is due. You know, and the Philadelphia Eagles have the best rushing offense in the league because they have the one of the top 3 running backs in the league with the top 3 offensive line. It's unheard of, right? And it's you look at the New York Giants and you're like, how do you let this happen to a division rival at the worst, right? So I mean, and in Philadelphia, their defense is phenomenal. I mean, the depth of defensive linemen is crazy. Like, and Brandon Graham, he got injured and everything. So, they say that he might be retiring after this season because he's getting old and whatnot. But the youth and the development of this defensive line is amazing. Jalen Carter is one of one. We all know that. Jordan Davis, he's one of one. Got that done. Milton Williams, he's great in his role. Uh, it 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 just Bryce Huff, Bryce Huff. Too. I mean, and then it's like you just have the random people that they have. Like we're just gonna keep going, man, and you have to keep the offense sped up to keep them on the field, and hopefully they get tired, but they're all in great condition because they're professional athletes, right? I don't know, man. It's crazy to think about. And then I'm not one to say like, oh, this isn't the Super Bowl that we wanted. Besides like my fan interest, I don't necessarily care who makes the Super Bowl. Like obviously I want the Bills to be in the Super Bowl because I'm a Bills fan. But I'm not gonna be one of people to say like, oh, like it's a rematch of 2 years ago. Why would I want to watch? Like, nah, 2 great teams are in the Super Bowl. It should be a great game. I'm excited to see Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl. Like, I'm genuinely excited. So we'll see, but it'll be a great rematch, honestly. And is Saquon the piece that gets them over the top, right? This defense is phenomenal. I mean, there's no James Bradbury who was the weak link, right? Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay, big time players, man. They're great. So I don't know, but I'm a fan of it. I like the game. I want the Bills, but that's my own interest. elbow. But yeah, nah, I mean, just you gotta. I just give so much credit to these teams for getting to this point, and I want to also give teams credit to the teams that lost this weekend because they had great seasons. And obviously the future is bright with Jaden Daniels, and then Coach Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know if he'll leave Jaden Daniels. Why would he? Got one of the best. And the thing is too is like, did Cliff Kingsbury prove to you that he's a good head coach in his time, or no? You see defensive coordinators do it all the time where they stay in whatever team is their great offense and whatnot. If I'm Cliff Kingsbury, I'm like, man, until I get me another Jaden Daniels, I'll happily stay in Washington. So the future's bright in Washington. Part of me is also glad they didn't make it because I'm a Bears fan, and that would not have looked good for Caleb because now then it's not to say that the Bears aren't going to go to the Super Bowl anytime soon because I would think that they will. But when you have to compare two people in the draft, you look at it, you're just like, well, damn, like now the bar is set up even higher. Like, thank God, thank God the Commanders didn't make the Super Bowl because it would not have been pretty thinking about all the backlash. Not necessarily backlash, but just like the pressure to be put on Caleb. The Bears. I think that the Bears can be in the conference championship next year. Ben Johnson's as good as a coach as we say, but it would have stung a little bit to see Jaden Daniels be at the Super Bowl in his first year. But I think that every quarterback in their class is compared to the most successful one. Like, if we're being honest, right? Like, just real quick, like Jalen Hurts, right? Is he the best quarterback in his class, or who is he compared to? Joe Burrow, Tua is compared, but Tua ain't on there. Tua isn't on Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts level, and Jalen Hurts, this is about to be his second Super Bowl appearance. Joe Burrow already has one, Lamar and Josh Allen, right? Like those two same draft class. Who's the better of them? Guess what? Um, Lamar's been in one AFC championship. Josh Allen just finished his second one. And Josh Allen beat him all the way to this one. And Josh Allen's actually beat Lamar twice in the playoffs, so that's always something about too. And it goes so on and so on. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, like who's famous out of his draft class? Because both of those guys washed up, Trubisky and Deshaun Watson. But to each his own. But nonetheless, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. More content on the way. Obviously, I'm gonna do a reaction to the Super Bowl headlines from that. More playoff talk. Um, a Bears reaction videos coming soon based off everything that has happened. So just stay tuned. Um, yeah, stay tuned, man. I got some content on the way. Check out my TikTok, ST with Key One. Um, yeah, and then obviously YouTube is YouTube. But yeah, like let's just keep on doing it, man. And I appreciate everyone listening and watching. Thank you so much. Peace and love. Oh, stop.